Right then, we've made it. This is the final stop on our journey around Salford, and we're ending where we more or less began, in Worsley. Now Worsley is probably the part of Salford with the richest history. If you've ever visited, you'll know exactly what I mean. This is where you'll find the famous Bridgewater Canal, which played a massive role in the Industrial Revolution. Back in the 18th century, the canal was built to transport coal from the Duke of Bridgewater's mines into Manchester. It completely transformed industry, reduced the cost of transporting goods, and helped shape modern Britain. It's incredible to think that something so important started right here in Salford. If you get the chance, definitely take a walk along the canal. It's one of the most beautiful places in the city, especially in the summer. There are information boards all along the route explaining the history, and it's hard not to imagine the narrowboats carrying coal hundreds of years ago. It's peaceful today, but it was once one of the busiest industrial waterways in the country. These days, Worsley is known for something completely different. It's often seen as the wealthiest part of Salford, if there is such a thing. It's home to some incredible houses, beautiful tree-lined roads, and supposedly more millionaires than anywhere else in the city. It's got a completely different feel to some of the places we've visited throughout this series, but that's what makes Salford so interesting. Every area has its own personality. Just next door you've got Monton, another place that's really transformed over the last couple of decades. Monton has become one of Salford's trendiest neighbourhoods. One of my cousins lives there, and every time I visit I'm reminded how nice it is. There are some stunning houses, plenty of independent cafes, restaurants and bars, and it's got a really lively atmosphere. If you're looking for a night out that's a bit more relaxed than Manchester city centre, Monton is definitely worth a visit. There are some great pubs, including the Bluebell, along with plenty of stylish bars and places to eat. In the summer, the whole place is buzzing, with people sat outside enjoying the weather. It's got a real community feel, while still feeling modern and fashionable. Then, just a few minutes down the road, you arrive in Eccles. Now, this is where some people might laugh, because if you're a proper Salfordian, Eccles has always had a bit of a reputation. I'll be honest, growing up, most of us thought it was one of the rougher, scruffier parts of Salford. That's just how it was. But, like everywhere else, it's changed massively over the years. To me, Eccles represents what Salford is all about. You've got people from all different backgrounds, cultures and communities living side by side. It's diverse, it's busy and it's constantly evolving. My own brother lives there with his family now, and it's definitely a much nicer place than it used to be. Years ago, you'd joke that you couldn't walk into certain pubs without someone wanting an argument. Those days have mostly gone now. Like most of Salford, it's cleaned itself up, and although it still has plenty of character, there's a much friendlier atmosphere than there was years ago. Eccles is probably best known these days for the Metro link running straight through it, connecting the area with Manchester city centre and heading out towards Media City, Trafford and beyond. Of course, it's also famous for the Eccles cake, one of the town's best known exports. One thing that always amazes me about Salford is how quickly everything changes. Within 10 minutes you can go from £1 million houses in Worsley to busy shopping streets in Eccles, then on to tower blocks, council estates and industrial estates. It's a city full of contrasts, and somehow it all fits together. Before we finish, I can't leave out Irlam. A lot of people don't immediately think of Irlam when they think of Salford. Because it's right on the edge of the city, plenty of people don't really class it as proper Salford. But officially, it absolutely is, and it's every bit as much a part of the city as anywhere else. Most of my daughter's mum's family lived there, and they're proper Salford people through and through. Irlam has its own identity, but it's still part of the wider Salford family. The area runs alongside the Manchester Ship Canal, another huge piece of the city's industrial history. Like many parts of Salford, Irlam has a large council estate, plenty of working class history and a strong sense of community. It might not get talked about as much as places like Media City or Worsley, but it's got its own character, and that's what matters. When you look back over everywhere we've covered, from Little Hulton, Walkden, Swinton, Pendleton, Broughton, Weast, Ordsall, Salford Quays, Eccles, Monton, Worsley, and finally Irlam, you realise just how huge Salford actually is. So many people think it's just the city centre and media city, but it's far bigger than that. Every district has its own stories, its own people, and its own identity. That's what I've always loved about this city. It isn't perfect, it never has been, but it's real. Thanks for joining me on this journey around Salford. Hopefully you've learnt something new, remembered a few old places, or maybe just smiled at some of the memories we've shared. Until next time, take care, and I'll see you in the next series.